It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we've got a beer from Anspach Hobday, and this is a can celebrating 10 years of their brewery. How time goes by. And this is the Smoked Brown. This is a beer coming in at 5% ABV in a 440 milliliter can. Oh, we're going to see, oh, do you know, well, that's the closest thing yet to Victorian man firefighter to modern day firefighter. That's actually incredible. Actually, they've still got the so Anspach Hobday, they have this kind of like a photographer. They'll look at a photographer in Victorian times and they'll have the picture of the big long camera and everything else, and then the photographer of modern times, man with a smartphone, standing next to each other. And I really like that branding. It's a really lovely way of wrapping a can of beer in fantastic artwork. But of all the different characters from Victorian times to modern day, this is the closest. They've even kind of like, of course, you're going to wrap your neck up, aren't you? You don't want to get, you know, God forbid type of thing. They're very well protected, both of them. They're both wearing helmets and they both got a fireman's hose. Yeah, pretty brilliant. Pretty brilliant. So what is a Smoked Brown? 5% ABV. It's in the spirit of the times when malted barley was killed over open fires. Right, that's the whole Fireman Sam thing going on. The Smoked Brown is a modern take on traditional brown ale. Right, we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the review. But let's get the beer out into a glass and see what we get. I do have etching on the bottom of this glass. I need to stick my dishwasher on. I'm down to my last few glasses. So this might be... I better slow it down actually. Slow the pour down. Blimmin' heck, that's a dusty glass. I've been doing some work in the house. Been doing a bit of work in the house. Kitchen unit. You might have seen the kitchen units video. The kitchen units were damp. Had to get them down. Found out that the electric back boxes are all rusted. When you start unearthing stuff in an old terraced house, you just keep on unearthing stuff. You just can't go, right, let's do this little job here. It just keeps rolling and rolling and getting worse and worse. I'll tell you what, let's tell you about that now. While I got a slightly dusty glass, one finger, slightly off-white head, good levels of carbonation. So how do I know it's a dusty glass? It's because the carbonation sticks to the side of the glass. So I have if you're a builder or if you know anything about building, I've got a single skin brick back wall. That means my back wall on the house is only one brick thick. It's only 5 inches thick. So of course the damp penetrates the wall, penetrates whatever's on the wall. So electric sockets, kitchen units, all the brackets were rusting. It was all kind of falling off the blooming wall. So the glasses, I've had to take the glass doors off, the cupboards, and of course you can't stop all the dust. You can clean a glass as much as you want and then come back 3 hours later, especially if you're doing building work, and then the dust is back. So yeah. Let's get the aroma. It's not a dust review, is it? It's a beer review. Let's get the aroma on this beer. It's a lovely dark ruby coloured beer. Aroma. Yes. So, if you're in Germany now, they would call this orange beer. There's a wonderful brewery in Germany called Schullenkörler. I love their beer. Their beers are fantastic. They're smoked beers. They smoke the malt. It smells like bacon. Tastes a bit like bacon. Let's get in. Cheers, everyone. Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. I would say, like, scale back from a Shirlencurler. The Shirlencurlers are full on. You either love those beers, you either tolerate those beers, or you either hate those beers. Personally, for a long time, being a beer reviewer, it was a case of tolerate. But I love to learn new things. I love to open myself up to crazy new things. And to go from drinking South Wales best bitters to smoked beers from Germany was, yeah, nobody else is doing that in South Wales, at least not back in 2010 anyway. So I tolerated for a while until I carried on, and I persevered, and I carried on until I got it. Boom, I like this. So I do like smoked beers now. This is more refreshing, I would say. A refreshing kind of smoked. It's a middleweight. Say Shirlencurler was a heavyweight, 25 stone, coming in the ring, all the smoke malt, you know, of that 25 stone. This will be a middleweight. This will be a slightly more limble, you know, dancing around on the back foot, popping one off. This will be a middleweight, kind of slightly lighter, not as much smoked malt, but you're still getting that smoked malt. Get hit in the face by a middleweight, you're going to know all about it. And I think that's a really clever way of doing it, actually. I think if you were to introduce a smoked brown ale like this to the UK market, to Anspach and Hobday's beer buyers, the people who turn up at their brewery to buy their beers, then it's almost going to be a case of, is it too much? Is there a level of toleration like I was able to give this level of toleration? Because I gave it the level of toleration because I was a beer reviewer, and it was almost a point where, like, I had to learn about it. But the general public don't have to learn about it, do they? They could either go, oh, you know what, I'll drink it, but maybe it's not for me, with a Shirlencurler. But with this, because it's scaled back, because it's not at that level of Shirlencurler, I think it's a great introduction. It's a great introduction to a smoked German Shirlencurler style beer. I love the look. There's a little bit of sweetness in there which balances off against that burnt, roasty, toasty, smoked flavour. Look at the beer though. Look at the quality of this beer. I think this brewery brew beers that they love. They're brewing these beers because they're as much as in love with beer as I am. And you can see it. You can see it on the love of the can. They've been brewing for 10 years. They're happy to say 10 years celebrations. Great stuff. It's good. So the malt is extra pale Maris Otter Raunch malt. That's the stuff. Special B and Dark Crystal. The hops are Williamette, and Brandon Cross. The yeast is US05, and it was brewed degrees Plato at 12.9. Oh, do you know, that's the one I keep forgetting. As a beer reviewer, that's the biggest thing. Let me rate it and we'll talk about degrees Plato. I like this beer enough to give it a Stone the Crows 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Thanks for watching. If you just wanted the beer review. Degrees Plato. I get told all the time. I get told all the time about it. I'm like, yeah, kind of like, is it the temperature of the mash? No, it won't be the temperature of the mash. It's the I always forget. In my early days, I always forgot, like, between keg and cask. That took me ages to work out, like, pasteurised keg beer and natural cask. That took me, like, ages to get hold of that one. This is the last one. And the colours as well. Check 10s and check 11s and check 12s, check 13s, check 14s. That's another thing that I've forgotten. Oh, degrees Plato. It's not the temperature that they pitch the yeast. It's not no, it's do you know, I'm gonna leave it to you guys. I'm absolutely blooming useless when it comes to this. I'm not afraid to say, because I'm not a brewer. I'm a beer reviewer. I review beer. I like to talk about the colours and the head retention and everything else. Probably should know after 14 years though, shouldn't I? Yeah, comments in the comments box. Thanks for watching. Boom, cheers.